Chapter 10, Persistence and Goals. So when we look at the persistence and goals, focus introduction, we look at focus on influencer, amount of sustained effort, study and motivation, and negotiation. So we look at focus on influence, persistence, as a set of negotiation tactics that, that are focused, more on the party doing the influencing rather than the party being influenced. So amount of sustained effort, amount of sustained effort is your persistence, represents the represents both the amount of effort, put in a moment, and then also the capacity to sustain over a period of time. Studying motivation, studying motivation and negotiation. So when you study people's motivation, you get a better understanding of, who they are, what they want. And understanding their motivation helps you. The motivated negotiate, setting goals, specific positions on specific issues. So when you have like goals, uh, goals, there's specific positions on specific issues, like in the negotiations working to achieve, then you have the goal direct action, which is why they are helpful, to negotiators. Simply one of the many positions that can decide upon beyond the negotiation to increase your motivation. Developing and formalizing objectives. So we think of that developing formalized objectives. You got to know what you're going into it. Develop your objectives and formalize it and go into it with a good game plan. So introduction and interest goals, interest issues, goals, and positions. So if you look at interest right here, first line, be able to purchase a new house desired in a desired community for your new family. Issue, salary, goal, salary. They got goal, 92,000. Possible positions, 80, 88, 90, and 92, and then 100. So interest, you say visit Europe during college. Issue, money from parents. Goal, parents pay at least half of the travel costs. And possible positions, parents pay nothing, parents pay 1/4, parents pay 1/2, parents pay 3/4, parents pay all expenses. So you get an idea of what interest goals, interest issue goals, and positions are. Characteristics of motivating goals. So you have SMART goals. SMART describes effective goals. SMART stands for specific. Now this is an acronym. Now it means specific, measurable, attainable. Let's see, attainable, relevant, and if I almost got there, relevant and time bound. So when you think about SMART, that is an acronym, and you see a lot. It shows up in when it comes to training and HR. You see it pops up a lot. Winner's curse. So the winner's curse is when you agree to something only to realize later that you are not happy with what you got. Goal setting theory. Goal setting theories. Goals the goals provide a definition of guidance or structure, and help negotiators see whether they are performing at a certain level, and the core compromise, the core premise of a goal setting theory is that goals are let's see, a result of dissatisfaction, provide definition for performance and driving effort. Specific. This, the first desired characteristic of a goal that is specific. Specific means that that someone else could articulate that what you mean by your goal. That is describable, understandable. Measurable means that there is a defined goal that can be evaluated after negotiation. Characteristics of motivating goals. Attainable. Are you looking at something, capture something that is attainable, actually attainable? It's realistic and it's attainable. Relevant. How relevant is it? Goals that must be clearly connected to your interest. What you're negotiating. It has to be relevant. So we're looking at time bound. Goals imply that there's a specific deadline time to do something. Process of setting the goals. So when we think of that, it's when you you're involved in setting goals, you're more committed to those goals because you have a sense of ownership. So, introduction, goals and effort. So we look at goals and effort, specific goals, goals with clear definition, measurable goals, goals that can be evaluated, attainable but difficult goals, goals that can be reached but not easily, relevant goals, goals in alignment with interest, time-bound goals, goals with a specific deadline. So you see all that goes into negotiation there. So goals and resistance points. So when you look at this, while a goal is what you hope to get, you also need a point is which you're no longer likely to say yes. The resistance point could be the same with goal. While a goal could be the same as a resistance point, it is actually better that your resistance point, and it would never be worse than the resistance point. So realistically, it could be the same, but most likely not. Much could be less than the goal. So we think much could be less than the goal. So if your goal is something less beneficial to you than your resistance point, neither your resistance point is not correctly. Either your resistance point is not correctly specified, or your goal is not difficult enough to generate effort. Introduction. So we see goals and resistance points. So you see the goals and resistance points. So we got your interest, issue, goal, and your resistance point. So your interest would be able to purchase a new home desired in a new community. Salary, of course, issue, goals at resistance point, the point at which you are willing to say yes. 91. So that's your resistance point. You say, okay, where's my resistance point? 91. I'm willing. They offer you 91. You say, I'll take it. Extrinsic motivation. So let's look at awards. When you think of that, rewards at stake. Extrinsic motivation is actually tangible and represents something that you're able to obtain, acquire as a result of negotiation. So extrinsic rewards, can hurt performance. The research has actually been done on this is remarkable here because it actually shows where tasks and negotiations it's definitely a complex task as the stakes are raised and performance drops. Anxiety and worry and mistrust, prevent effective negotiation and performance. Because and increase when the stakes are raised. So negotiations may want very badly to succeed, but you can be really anxious and stuff, and realistically stakes in many cases they fail. Planning is critical. You got to plan. Look, there's an old saying: fail to plan, then plan to fail. So intrinsic motivation, fulfilling nature of the task. So fulfilling nature of the task, let's see, so if someone's intrinsic motivation is to negotiate, it means that they drive pleasure from the exercise of negotiation. So they enjoy that. Need for esteem, need for self-esteem. Okay, researchers, there were some studies where researchers, they have argued, that one reason that this is the case, when engaging in tasks makes individuals feel good about, themselves. After negotiation allows the opportunity to obtain something for themselves. So you feel like you've accomplished something. Interest underlying an intangible value. So interest underlying intangible values, for someone who is intrinsically motivated to negotiate, is likely means that they see negotiation as a means to not only feel good about the outcome, but also enjoy the process of getting something which makes them feel good about themselves. Difficult to increase. Whether because of the culture, personality, or all types of things. Many people are ill at ease, when it comes to negotiations. You're possibly, out of fear of losing instead of seeing negotiations as a means of feeling good and gaining something. Are you lucky? I've already refused to see 5 salesmen this morning. Oh, you are lucky. I've already refused to see 5 salesmen this morning. I know they were me. So you see the persistence there. He kept coming back. Bottom line is persistence in action. Where they say where there's a will, there's a way. So why does persistence work? Negotiation takes work. So realistically, it's kind of like try again until you succeed. Negotiation takes work. So you have to keep going with the persistence at it. Exerting influence by perception. So one of the things in exerting influence by perception, is one of the ways to exert influence in negotiation. Is to make the other side perceive that the cost of continuing to negotiate is higher than the cost of giving you what you want. That's the best way to say it. Passion, seen as a positive trait. So passive, seen as a positive trait. So, others involved in negotiation, whether on your side or on the other side, and even those, you negotiate against, can see your passion as a positive trait and may want to actually help you achieve your goal because you got a good functional relationship right there. Opportunities to try different tactics. So while you're negotiation, it's also an opportunity to start thinking, like you're playing chess, a couple moves ahead. Look to see if there's possibly some other tactics that you may be able to utilize in the course of doing these negotiations. Negotiation, motivation and negotiation. So reason. Having more persistence than the other side takes advantage of the fact that the opportunity costs are higher, that opportunity costs are higher than yours, and they want to end the negotiation. Here's an example. Scenario, you are disputing a charge on your credit card bill and a credit card company refuses to take the charge off. Persistence. You keep asking to talk to the customer service manager and you write letter after letter and do not give up. At some point, the company will succeed to your request simply because they want to get rid of you. There we go. The motivation and persistence. Negotiate, being persistent. Achievement of joint gains. So achievement of joint gains, when you are, persistent, you keep asking questions, you keep exploring options, and you keep engaging the other side. The persistence has been, linked to performance and activities involving many of the concepts of negotiation, such as in sales and fundraising. It helps to try more tactics. So when you're doing this, it helps to try more tactics because listen, if some things are not working, keep trying till something does, and it could be helpful. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And it may not work, but at least you tried. Behavior that prolongs the discussion. So when you look at behavior that prolongs the discussion, it's got a list here. I'm going to read this out to you. It is difficult to outline every type of resistance, but here are a few types. So sitting at the car dealership and asking questions, asking to talk to a manager, continually schedule meetings with the team to talk about difficult issues, going to someone's office repeatedly, standing at a customer service counter and waiting for them to respond, sending letters, emails repeatedly. Walking away is not persistence. Walking away is not persistence, because once you do that, you've ended the process. So that's definitely not something that's part of being persistent and proactive. Setting goals. Most obvious motivational tactic. When you think of set negotiation goals, in line with the model, the goal settings, remember it's SMART. Set them in line with that. It helps to think about trade-offs. So you think about that. So, so that you do not fall victim to one of the dangers of goal setting, getting so committed to the goal that you are unable to think about alternative solutions. So that's what you don't want to do. Diagnose your own belief level. Diagnose your own belief. I mean, if you feel like you are not committed, make sure that the goal is aligned with your interests. And, if you feel like you think that the goal is totally unrealistic, then try to figure out why you feel that way. Setting negotiation goals. Preference sheet with so look at here. We see preference sheet with position values. So attractiveness. So we see most attractive position. We see salary. Okay. And we see least attractive here. Let me look at the salary. So you see the higher salary at the top, and lower salary at the bottom. The vacation, most attractive, 2 weeks or more. Performance review. Transportation and cars. It's the most attractive, company car 35, the least attractive, no assistance 0. Using the preference sheet. So when you're using the preference sheet, this gives you an idea of what's your preferences in what in your goals and your endeavors. What's the preference? Where you put more credence at? Craft motivating goals. So by using your preference sheet, you can avoid crafting a goal on each possible issue rather than possibly. I'm sorry. If you're going to do this, you're going to craft it. You're going by using your preference sheet. What it will allow you to do, if you can avoid crafting, your goals on each possible issue rather than focus your goal on overall value gained from the negotiation. Possible positions and possible issues. So you got possible positions, you got positions, and you look at it, your positions, they ranked accordingly to your importance. And then you assign a point value corresponding to the importance of that. Total value extraction from it. So you look at total value, you look at the sheet, and it allows you to anticipate, prior to negotiations, what trade-offs you might want to do. Relative importance of various issues. So you look at this. This is so you got your list. So this is kind of like you're preferably to do your best, or if you think about it, relative importance of various issues. Which ones means the most to you, and how relevant is that? Setting intangible goals. So when you set intangible goals, intangible value extraction from negotiation. So we intangible value for extraction from negotiation. So after all, a client may not only buy future product from you, your company. The client might want you to hire you one day or something like that. Negotiate. That's very uncommon. It happens more often than you think. Process oriented goals. So these are such goals. When they can be quite effective actually. And perhaps that let's say that the negotiation, let's say the negotiation is fair, and or that you come away with a better understanding of the other person's inherent wants and needs, their interests. Not victim to fixed pie bias. So not victim to a fixed pie bias. This means you have you can essentially have the same effect on on yourself by having a goal of a process, which allows you to a more objective view of the negotiation, and thus a pathway to using more negotiation tactics. May not be specific. Okay, may not be specific, but you can definitely set intangible goals. Intangible goals that carry the rest of your characteristics. We can help shape your mindset when entering into negotiation, and not only motivate and persist, but also avoid making mistakes. Very straightforward to use. So simply trying to get this is when you're simply trying to get to the other side and to give them some specific aspect of negotiation. To accomplish that, you keep pushing. Be seen in a positive light. Be seen in a positive light. If you're trying to impress somebody, with your passion, you can be seen as a more positive light, and they actually might respect you and continue to negotiate. Avoid stereotype of the shrinking flower. So I'll read this to you. Avoid stereotype of shrinking flower. Persistence can help you to avoid the stereotype of the shrinking flower who does not stand up for himself or anyone else. So cost of leverage persistence may harm future negotiation ability. Bottom line is this: everything you do in the current negotiation always has potential to affect what you do later. Persistence works when respected. So when when you're doing that, when you respect the other side and you're being persistent, it does come across as someone that's competent, confident, and professional. So usually that's always going to be, and it'll be perceived well, because they'll view you as you're really trying to do your job. Know whether the tactic works or not. You got to be on top of things to see if the tactic is working. If you're employing a tactic and it's not really working, you got to back off it and go a different way. And sometimes, you don't know that until you actually start getting into negotiation and you see you're deep into something and it's not working for you. Escalation of commitment. So you think of escalation, this is a tendency, for, one to increasingly work towards the achievement of one or more of the goals. I'll read this for you. What can happen in negotiation is what a goal is made, then the individual increasingly works towards the goal, even if the pursuit of the goal is ultimately harming the ability to extract value in a negotiation. Goals can restrict you. So goals can restrict you. You may become overly focused on the goal and lose sight of the larger picture or package or other opportunities that might come out for you. Goals can motivate undesirable behaviors. So think about this. If goals become the only way in which, a negotiation is being measured, the negotiators measure him or herself, if those goals are only tangible in nature, then the negotiator might end up losing sight of what is right and a way to behave in a situation, seeking to maximize relative value. This is when individuals fall into the trap that they are more worried about getting more than the other side. Must evaluate options of persistence. So you must evaluate. This will help you decipher whether your use of persistence is ethical or not. That concludes this chapter.